Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're cutting through the noise, really focusing on something pretty universal, navigating your career when, well, your education doesn't quite line up with where you find your footing.
Exactly. And we're doing this by looking at a single, really detailed source. It's a professional journey of someone we're calling Conk.
Yeah, this is quite a story. We're basically charting his path from being a high school science kid in Sichuan through, well, a couple of really big high-stakes career changes.
Yeah.
Takes him through Shenzhen and Chongqing.
And the core of it, the real tension, is this deep misalignment, isn't it? He picked computer science initially. Why? Because he liked video games.
Right, a classic trap. And that mismatch, it sort of forced him down this unexpected path. First into real estate marketing, super high pressure, but also surprisingly rewarding financially.
And now, another big pivot. This time into IP operations, which is driven more by work-life balance considerations and maybe a bit of a gamble on a growing industry.
So our mission here, for you listening, is to unpack the power of those skills you don't learn in a specific degree, those transferable skills.
We want to pull out the insights, how his actual strengths, communication, organizing things, market strategy, how they ended up mattering way more than his formal CS degree.
It's really a lesson in self-awareness, I think. Realizing the job you thought you wanted maybe wasn't right at all.
And that sometimes the path you kind of stumble onto, that's actually where you thrive.
Okay, let's dig in. Where did it all start? High school, Naijiang, Sichuan. This is around 2007.
Right. He's in a top science program, but he talks about this major slump, almost 2 years, where he just felt like he, quote, hadn't woken up.
He even used the word I, like slumping, falling behind, sleeping in class, not paying attention.
But the recovery, that's key. It shows his later approach. He realized how far behind he was, and what did he do? He didn't just try to cram for the current stuff.
No, he made a strategic call. He ignored the new lessons, basically, and went back. Focused entirely on self-studying everything he'd missed from the first couple of years. He built his own catch-up plan.
Which is pretty remarkable self-discipline for a teenager.
And it worked. He got his scores right back up, ended up ranking, I think it was 11th in his grade, out of 800 science students.
Yeah, incredible turnaround. Shows that when he was motivated, he could really focus.
But then came that fateful decision, choosing a major.
Computer science. All because he liked playing games. He figured it would be about, application development or something similar.
And interestingly, his first choice, based on his actual grades, was polymer science. Completely different field.
Shows how little the decision was based on academic fit at that point.
He ended up at Zhongshan University in Guangzhou. His father actually advised him to pick a city with better economic prospects, coastal city, over Xiamen University.
Smart advice on the location, maybe less so on the major alignment.
Well, yeah, because the reality of the CS program hit hard. It was all programming, heavy development, algorithms, not the application side he'd imagined.
Exactly. He described his university life using that phrase, "pure."
Which means?
Basically, passing is victory. Just get through it. He knew he didn't have that deep-seated drive for, intense research or drilling down into complex code. Wasn't his personality.
And that's the crucial takeaway from his student phase, right? The self-assessment.
He realized his personality was much more suited for extroverted roles, things involving marketing, communication, organization, not sitting quietly coding.
So he started prioritizing work experience early on. He explicitly said, I think experience is more important than academics. For him, anyway.
That's a pretty mature conclusion for someone still in university deciding to pivot mentally even before graduating.
Yeah, he basically accepted the degree was just a ticket, an entry pass. He was betting on his innate skills, not the piece of paper.
Which wasn't the easy path, of course.
No, definitely not. That realization led straight into this huge cross-industry jump. He graduated, applied to the big tech firms, the BAT companies, Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent,
And?
Rejected. Pretty much across the board. His grades were just average, not what they were looking for.
So, okay, a CS grad, average grades, rejected by tech. How on earth does he end up in real estate marketing?
Networking. The power of who you know. It was an internal referral. A to or from a relative.
Ah, the relative connection.
Yeah, someone working for a developer in Shenzhen. That connection cracked open the door.
Now let's clarify the role he took. It wasn't sales, right? Not the
Yeah.
frontline commission stuff.
Correct. He was in marketing planning. It's more strategic. You could say if the sales team are the soldiers firing the gun.
He was the one making the bullets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Designing the whole narrative. Planning all the customer-facing materials, the brochures, the models in the sales center, the website text, the images, everything.
So translating the technical specs, the blueprints, into something desirable, creating the value proposition for potential buyers.
Which takes a specific kind of skill. Analytical, yes, but also deeply about communication and persuasion.
And maybe, that CS background wasn't totally wasted after all. Even if he wasn't coding, that logical structuring, problem solving, that probably helped in planning complex marketing campaigns.
That's a really good point. The framework was there, maybe, even if the application was totally different. But it came at a cost, a huge one.
The work-life balance? Or lack thereof?
Yeah, the source describes it as extreme. 10 hours was the minimum, often 16, 17 hours a day.
Wow. Running on fumes, 4 or 5 hours sleep sometimes.
Brutal. And yet, he says he never regretted it, never regretted going into real estate.
That's the fascinating part. What drove that satisfaction? Was it just the money or something else?
He points to both. But the sense of mission seemed really important. Buying property in China, it's often the biggest single investment someone makes in their life.
Right. A huge decision.
So, being able to package that property effectively, making buyers feel confident, even happy to pay a premium, that gave him a real sense of achievement, a powerful psychological boost.
And let's not downplay the financial side. It paid well.
Better than average, he says. Especially after he moved to the developer side, the Jingfang, the client side. That's usually a step up in stability and pay.
And he gave a specific number, didn't he, about his peak earnings?
He did. Just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about.
Yeah.
His biggest single year-end bonus was between 300,000 and 400,000 RMB.
Wow. Okay. That kind of money. Yeah, that definitely reframes what you're willing to endure in terms of stress and hours.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Which makes his next career move all the more interesting. Why leave that behind?
The context changed. The entire domestic real estate market in China started facing these really intense government controls, regulations.
Right. Things got volatile. Income wasn't as stable. Future growth looked limited. The whole industry felt riskier.
So the instability eventually tipped the scales against the high salary. And the opportunity for the next pivot came, again, through his network.
A friend this time, right?
Yeah.
A designer he knew from his real estate days.
Exactly. This friend was starting a new company in IP operations and needed someone with marketing and organizational skills. Kunk's skill set, basically.
So it wasn't like starting from zero. It was taking his core expertise marketing strategy, planning and applying it to a brand new industry. A horizontal shift.
Let's talk about IT operations. It's a growing area, but maybe not everyone knows exactly what it involves. He breaks it down into two main things.
Okay, what's it first?
First is copyright agency and authorization, essentially acting as the licensor's agent. So think about like a big collaboration, Uniqlo doing T-shirts with Detective Conan, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Managing the rights.
Right. His company would represent the IP holder Detective Conan, for example, and sell the rights to use specific characters or designs to other brands, often fast-moving consumer goods, FMCG companies. They get a fee for that usage, monetizing the IP's popularity.
Got it. And the second part?
That's peripheral product development. So they don't just license out the IP, they also create and sell their own merchandise based on IPs they either own or represent.
Like what kind of products?
Could be anything.
Well.
He mentioned things based on popular domestic expression pack characters, those emoji-like characters like a duck or a tiger that get really popular online.
Oh, right. Or images from animation platforms like Xiaohongshu.
Exactly. They turn those digital things into physical goods. Bedding, plush toys, car accessories, you name it, trying to capture more of the value chain themselves.
So this new role, it represents a massive trade-off, doesn't it?
Huge. Think about the lifestyle change. He went from those crazy 10 to 17-hour days in Shenzhen
to a pretty standard 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. schedule. Minimal weekend work. And he's now based in Chongqing, which he describes as more livable.
A dramatic improvement in quality of life.
Yep.
But the flip side...
The income. He calls it very average right now.
So he sees this current career phase not as a secure job, but more like a calculated risk. A gamble, as he put it.
A gamble on what, exactly?
On the future of the domestic IP industry in China. It's still pretty young compared to, say, Japan or the US. It doesn't have those giant foundational IPs, yet the Pokemon, the Doraemon that generate billions consistently.
So the bet is?
The bet is that by being in this space now, early on, his company might discover or help build the next huge homegrown IP.
Oh, okay. And if that happens?
Then the growth could be explosive for the company and for him personally, potentially getting his income back up to those real estate levels or even higher, but hopefully with a much healthier work-life balance.
So looking back at the whole journey, the high school slump, the CS mismatch, the intense real estate years, now this IP gamble, how does he feel about it overall?
He actually describes it as relatively smooth, which might sound surprising given the twists and turns.
Yeah, smooth isn't the first word that comes to mind.
But he attributes that smoothness to figuring out his real strengths early on, even if it wasn't through his degree. He seems genuinely satisfied despite the academic path not working out.
He realized the CS degree did its job, basically. It got him into a good city, Guangzhou. The real learning happened after that in the market.
And when you ask him that classic time machine question, would you change anything?
What did he say?
He considered it. Maybe choosing Xiamen University, maybe picking a marketing major from the start. But ultimately, he thinks he probably would ended up in real estate anyway, given his personality and the opportunities at the time.
So, no specific regrets.
No specific regrets. The value was in the experience itself and in his adaptability when Plan A failed spectacularly.
The key lesson here for you, listening, seems clear. Success for Kong wasn't about the degree on his wall. It was about recognizing his core abilities, the marketing, the organizing, the people skills, and then having the guts to apply them wherever opportunity knocked.
Even if that meant huge initial sacrifices like those crazy hours for the financial upside, and then pivoting again when the equation changed.
It's a really interesting case study in how people value their careers differently at different stages. He moved from an industry where the big money was tied to insane hours and for a while perceived stability.
Right, real estate.
To this new emerging field, IP operations, where the pay is lower now, the stability is less certain, but the work-life balance is way better. And there's this potential for a huge but risky future payoff, that gamble.
And that really brings up a provocative thought for you to chew on. When you're thinking about your own career moves, what are you optimizing for? Is it the guaranteed, maybe high-level financial comfort right now? Or are you willing to trade some of that certainty for more control over your time and the possibility of a much bigger but riskier payoff down the line?
It's that fundamental choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Optimizing for stability versus optimizing for that potential long-term, maybe exponential upside. Something to think about.
Definitely.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll see you next time.